All right, here we go. It's best of 5. Bottom left of altitude, we have Trigger. Top right of altitude, we have Solar. This is actually a really big moment for Trigger. He plays these cups all the time. He's had some great games in them against great players. And now today, he's taking down 2 of the world's best Terran players, both Korean. And here he is against Solar. A different matchup. We're going to see what he wants to plot against Solar, though. I mean, he's really coming into his own right now. It's a fun thing to watch. We're watching the rise of Trigger, you know, in a year or two. He might just be one of these guys that's a real contender at some of the tournaments. That's a real possibility, right? It was very exciting to watch Estrella rise up and start getting into GSL. And, you know, something like that could come for Trigger now. So a nice block there, as Mapu points out. Blocking that hatchery. This is not 100% universal, but most Protosses do like to do this now. Very consistently. Generally, it'll help your Adept in Oracle harassment to possibly find a bit more damage. And if they really find even an extra drone kill or 2, that is so worth it for sending the probe out that early, honestly. I wonder if any Protoss players actually did the math on it and just averaged their drone kill counts with hatch block versus non-hatch block. I'd actually really like to see the numbers on that. That would be absolutely fascinating. That'd be a great way to refine your play some as a pro gamer. They most certainly didn't. Yeah, only Terran players would do something like that. Okay, so, I mean, Trigger's just still scouting a bit. You can see he accidentally picked up minerals when he was harassing the mineral patches. I mean, he could have purposely done it too, if your multitasking isn't quite there. Chrono boosting out that Adept. We see no warp gate, so it will be a Stargate here in just 1 second. There it is. And the warp gate will get started up, as well as a secondary Adept. And yeah, so very standard on both sides. We'll see if Solar has anything special to try to block this harassment. We'll see how he spreads his spores and his queens. All right, the Ling gets in and gets a full scout. The thing is, well, it's always good to get that full scout to confirm, right? Because there are mind games that can be played. But that is exactly what he was expecting the entire time. And even if he didn't get that scout in, I guarantee you that he counters that. Because it's almost always Oracle. Or 3 Oracles plus some Adepts. Now, we would imagine that from here, we're going to see Adepts and a probe make it over to the 3rd base. And... excuse me. And, you know, just get that 3rd base set up pretty quickly. I like these Narwhal Oracles that he plays with. This Narwhal skin. Or is it a unicorn skin because it's purple? But he's got that horn out in the front. Ooh, not that much. 1 kill there. Pretty heavy hull damage. Pretty heavy. Also back here, he loses an Adept and a probe. Ugh. Not the cleanest opening sequence here for this 3rd base. Guys, it's a tusk, not a horn. Guys, I told my kids that it is a unicorn fish, okay? So it's a unicorn fish. That's what we're going with. And that's it. All right, so 3rd base is going to be finishing up here, going into Twilight as well as Forge. Roche Warren coming up for Solar Layer as well. honestly, so I mean, I think you gotta hand it to Solar. This was like a better opener. He really minimized damage. Even his very small Ling harassment, you know, killing that probe and that adept is very annoying. The Oracles really haven't found anything yet that they were looking for. Fourth base coming up from Solar. He's continuing his creep spread pretty well. It is that Blinken +1. You know, we know that Trigger is very good at that. He did this against Yo-Yo earlier. We did get to cast one of his series already. Decent harassment. All right. Now, this part I find interesting, okay? We see the Templar Archives coming up. I'm not entirely sure what that's all about. It's not very common to go Blink +1 on 3 base after Oracle. Well, that part's super common. But to then follow that up with High Templars and Storm really, really, really isn't common. Like, if you want splash damage with this, you generally go into Robo Splash. You don't generally go Psystorm. And it wouldn't be for Archon, obviously. That doesn't... That wouldn't make sense. Like, there's no reason to go Archon here. He's playing against Roach. Like, Archons are just not good there. So far his Stalkers have been mostly picked off. This seems like a more defensive play. So I guess when I say that out loud, actually, it makes a bit more sense, even though I haven't really seen this as the transition from the Blink Stalkers. Most Protosses would play this a little bit more forward, a little bit more aggressively. But like I've mentioned before, Trigger is a very honorable Protoss. Plays more defensive macro games. Like, he is the NA version of Stats, if you will. So for him to go into Storm and try to take a 4th base and not get as aggressive with the Blink Stalkers, in a way does make sense. It fits his style a bit more. But I'm not convinced it's as strong. And I am worried about him right now. It feels to me like he's got a much weaker army at the moment. Look at this army coming in. Well, actually, he's gonna have Storm, right? So let's see. I mean, Storm is not the best against Roaches, but when you got 5 Storms here, man, like 5 Storms is a serious amount of Storms. Let's go. There's 2, 3. He's weakening it. Look at those High Templars attack as if they're an attacking unit. Having a bit of a hard time here. Pops 2 of the eggs. There's a 4th. There's a 5th. So might want to make some Archons now, because this is still getting pretty bad. There's 1 Archon. Maybe going to save those for Storms. It looks like Solar's just going to win this right here. Yeah, that's a weird build. That's a weird strategy, I guess is a better way to put it. To go Blink +1, not too heavy, clear some creep into Storm and 4th. And, you know, Solar just kind of attacks and kills him. So a little bit of a one-sided game here. Trigger didn't find any good harassment early on. GG. And yeah, the Storms didn't really do it there. Again, generally, if you want splash damage in a game like this, you'll go into Robo Splash. And in this particular case, you would have gone Disruptor, because it was Roach Ravager heavy, which is very weak against Disruptor. You can't really dodge with Roach Ravager. And then if it was like more Ling heavy, Colossus, obviously, right? So I think, you know, a little bit of a mistake there. Well, no, I can't call it a mistake. That's the wrong terminology here. He has this strategy. I haven't seen it. It doesn't sound right. It didn't work. That doesn't mean that there's no merit to it. There could be something there. Because if you think about it, if he doesn't die here, right, and he's on 4 base, he's got 5 High Templars building energy, he's got Blinken +1. We're starting to look pretty good. So, I would like to see the strat again. I want to learn. I want to see what his other ideas are there. But we are ready to get into game number 2, guys. Dirt nasty. What's up, man? We got to play some 2v2s on fucking Mech Arena, dude. I'm getting real good at that game. All right. Let's go into Gressvon. No, we're not done with Brood War. We'll be playing Brood War after this. In the bottom right, we have Trigger. In the top left, we have Solar. Let's see if Trigger wants to do the block. He does. The probe has already been sent. And yeah, he's going to do that hatch block once again. So we'll see if his Adept and Oracle harassment does better. He doesn't necessarily need to do it, though. So we'll see. Some shield battery. Oh my god. All right, so Hatchery just goes down to the third base location, very standard stuff. He checks to make sure it's there. Now he'll go to the main base, harass the mineral patches some. This is all very standard. This has all been played out quite a bit. As far as Trigger side goes, obviously we have to wait for that Cybernetics core to know what he's going to do. And for anyone wondering, the wonderful observer for us here today is Mapu. Hire him for all these observings. He's fantastic at his job and definitely makes it a hell of a lot better. So give him some love. Use the command Mapu, and you can check out his channel on Twitch, his Twitter as well. So, yeah, everything's still looking normal. We're just waiting for that Cybernetics core, guys. I mean, I've said this so many damn times in this matchup. Before or after the 12-worker switch, you still have to wait for that Cybernetics core to finish to really figure out what's going to be going on. I think it's going to be the Oracle again, but yeah, it is. So he'll go Oracle here once again with the Adepts. Last game, his harassment fell pretty flat. Solar got to drone exactly as he wanted. Depth coming across the map. Yeah, that third hatch coming up at the natural. All very normal stuff. All right, Link coming in and getting that full scout once again. This is certainly something that we saw last game, so maybe a slight hole in Trigger's play that he's always letting that in, but here's the exact same harass he did previously as well. Forces some lost mining time there and then shades out. It's a good move. It's a good move. You see that lost mining time. Mapu's showing you that graph. You know, it does mean something. Forcing workers to pull. You know, I find this to be one of the most enlightening things to look at as a player, is looking at things like lost mine time and actually calculating what you're losing. It really can bring things into focus. Definitely worthwhile if you're becoming like a stronger player and you're interested about it, and you can look at it and be like, oh wow, really? I lost 100 minerals there? That's kind of crazy. You know? It can show you the value of having your units in position correctly and, you know, that type of thing. Anyways, the Adept gets back and will be picked off by the Sling, so that is very annoying. Somewhat similar to what we saw in the previous game as well. Oh, at least he'll be able to pop that, right? Oh, he gets aggroed. He gets aggroed. Ah, damn. He just turned it on and left it there. He didn't give it an attack command. Didn't give it a hold position command. So that will end up living. A little mistake there. It's not the end of the world, but, you know, not perfect. All right, Trigger flying into this third base. Yeah, it doesn't even have energy on the second Oracle, unfortunately. He takes a bunch of hull damage. Oh, no, he's going to lose it. Oh, just barely. Oh, my God. Well, he does have the triple Oracle. Oh, this is so annoying. Look at Solar go, man. Split him, split him. Very low energy now on his Oracles. He hasn't found the damage once again. A little bit of harass out of that third base, too. Excuse me, sorry. Ten roaches on the way. Is he going to try and attack? You know, I guess the Oracle's got so low. Yeah, he's doing an attack. Tenlings as well. And... well, this is... yeah, you see those queens coming? Trigger man, you better start making shield batteries. Wait, did he have a forge? Because some cannons here could be good as well. No, I guess not. If he's making 4 batteries, he doesn't have a forge. Couple more gates coming up. Yeah, he throws down a stasis ward as well. Loses one of the Oracles very, very quickly. Oh, they didn't trigger. Oh! Okay, no. Yeah. This is really unfortunate. Looks like Solar's going to take this game pretty quickly, I think. He does have some shield batteries finishing up. The Oracle's trying to stay alive. Look at that. They're just powering down those shield batteries super, super quickly. I tell you, after these 2 games with the same opener, it feels like maybe Trigger needs to try something else in the next game. I think Solar's a bit too refined against these Oracle openers, and Trigger's just not quite there yet. GG. You know, maybe someone like a Showtime or something, as far as the foreign scene goes. Maybe even Estrella might be able to pull off these Oracle openers and get some damage on Solar, keep him back a bit more, get a bit more scouting. But 2 games in a row now, Trigger was really unable to get that damage. Took lots of damage, used lots of energy. Wasn't able to keep the pressure on that you need to with those. You know, I think it can look easy to people when you see the Oracles fly in and just rotate around and get kills left and right. A lot of people might look at that and be like, yeah, like every Protoss can do this. It's really not the case. Like, you really need a lot of awareness of where everything's at and how to get in and get out. And at least right now against Solar, Trigger doesn't have that. Why not Phoenix? I mean, there are Phoenix openers. They're not very popular, though. They're not that good, honestly. All right, so right now Solar leads 2-0. Let's do it. Bottom right, we have Trigger. Top left, we have Solar. The map is Dragon Scales. And, yeah, I'm really hoping that Trigger can make a game here. They've been pretty one-sided so far, unfortunately. All right, so this game, he is skipping going for the hatchery block. So he's doing a completely different build. You'll notice he got gas first. If you skip scouting, you can afford to get your gas first. And what this does is it allows you to get a little bit of gas earlier on, right? Because you actually only need 16 probes on your minerals. And if you're not scouting, you get that extra mining a little bit quicker. And then you get the extra probe that's on the gas at that point, right? And so you're just going to be able to bank up gas a little bit faster. So you're playing a little bit blind here for sure. But this can be a very good build. Like this is a build for optimizers. If you want to like get out some sort of tech more quickly, that type of thing. It's going to be a bit better for you. I wonder what he'll do with it. I really don't know. I tell you, I would love to see something like old school DT into Archon Chop. Force the roaches out there, get the Immortals behind, something like that could be very cool. I'd appreciate seeing something like that. That was so meta for so long. Now we just never see it. All right, probe going across. Gonna get his scout down. And yeah, gonna see what he expects, obviously. Double hatchery. Solar has one as natural, so he'll be happy about that. You know, when you're allowed to put your hatchery there, generally I think you're gonna look at that and say, okay, probably no Oracle this game. Oh. Okay, so the extra gas he got, he started Warp Gate more quickly, but he's still getting the Stargate. So this is a little bit tricky. Like I mentioned, when you see something like this, like the no scout, he lets you get your natural where you want it and everything. Again, you're going to be less inclined to think that it's going to be Oracle because the Oracle play pairs so well with forcing the Nexus to be elsewhere. Oh, man. Again. That is brutal. He's going to see the Stargate. Oh, man. That's a bit sad. Not going to lie. If he had kited back a little bit earlier as the Lings were coming in, because, you know, he was shading forward, but his Adept kind of was walking forward as the Lings came. If the second he saw the Lings, he started stepping back and stutter stepping back to his base, he wouldn't have been scouted. So, or kiting, rather, is probably a better terminology than stutter stepping there. They don't fire quick enough to stutter step. But anyways, and that's normally more forward. We really need a fucking StarCraft dictionary for the way we talk about the game. Anyways, a little bit of harassment going down. Only gets one probe, or one drone, unfortunately. Okay, finishes that one off with the Oracle, a little alley-oop. This is Narwhal Oracle. Second Oracle flying out, third on the way. So maybe he just plays it normal from here. Third base has been started. I hope his defense is going to be a little bit better there this time. All right, starts the Adept, and he actually is blindly making the shield battery there. Okay, here we go. Okay, we got the improvements. Some of the same stuff went poorly still, like the Ling Scout got in. But you know what? He made a shield battery. He's not losing units at his third base. So that's solid. Better Oracle harassment. It's not the best Oracle harassment, but it's better. Definitely an improvement over the previous games. All right, triple Oracle. Gonna chill for a moment. Go towards that main base. Ooh. Yeah, he got really low on energy. Lost two of them. Ah, that's unfortunate. There might be a little bit of nerves here. Oh, now this is the catch we were looking for. This is it right there. 7 plus the 3 from before, so 10 kills. And the Adept got 1, so I think he's killed 11 drones so far. Lost 2 Oracles, which is really unfortunate. If he still had those 2 Oracles, I'd be like, okay, that's a really sizable advantage. Without the Oracles, you know, that takes away some of his flexibility. He actually starts another Oracle, which makes some sense to me. I think you do want a little bit more presence in the air. Your ground army's a bit weak here. All right, the Overseer just going in and, I mean, it's scouting what you expect to see as well, right? Nothing too crazy coming up behind. It's not like a support bay or something. Nice pylon block there. We'll force everything back. A few roaches on the way. Fourth base now coming up. Okay. How many gates? Are we on 6? Now, this here is a very light pressure. I think he's just going to basically leave the second anything comes up. I think. Like, ooh, I like that. I like that little snipe. That was good. But this is like kind of fake, right? Like he wants Zerg to make units, but he doesn't actually want to fight. So just some nice pressure going down, clearing some creep, getting that fourth base going. Might want to think about adding more gates. Yeah, okay, so he did start another gate there. Oh, actually fighting on the bridge. This is really good for Trigger. That is a fantastic location for him. So Solar does pull back away from it. Yeah, and Trigger blinks across the bridge, right? That double bridge is not one that you really want to cross on either side. Just you come out in such a little funnel, your opponent really should have a concave there and just stomp you. So here he starts to fight again. Yeah, gets back over the bridge. Oh, dude, that's so good for Trigger right there. No, turn! It's time. Really fantastic stasis ward there. Very annoying lings in that main base. So Trigger trying to micro on two fronts, cleaning those up, as well as microing heavily here over at those bridges. This is really unfortunate, man. You know, he's got these other, your units are under attack or whatever, you know, things coming up because he is fighting across the map. So he loses way more probes than he was meant to there, unfortunately. A bit too many roaches does blink out. No real defense here at the fourth base. A few things are going wrong for Trigger right now. Like, that is a very small amount of lings that you got to recall for, right? Splits his army a bit. Now, this is not the end of the world for Trigger as of yet, right? He is down an army, but he's got a hell of a lot of blink stalkers. And that means something. All right, moving up. Uses some tags here. Gives him some sort of vision. I mean, these are good little engagements. A little roach counterattack, though. Did he just do a warp in? That might be a problem, because don't forget, he just did a recall, so his recall timer isn't down quite yet. Yeah, okay, at least he had 4 gates there, and there's 3 more. Okay, so his warp ins weren't that far off. But as he micros at home, takes a bad engage on the other side of that bridge. Ooh, trying to bait him into that stasis ward once again. Definitely needs to clean these roaches as efficiently as possible with as little attention as possible. Another decent stasis ward there. Zealot coming in to try to clean this. Nice blink back. All right, Zealot's running in, trying to do a little bit of harassment. Actually, he has an even more fringe base on the left. Not sure, actually, if Trigger knows about that base. Continue to keep this pressure on, though. You got to hand it to him. Like, there have been a few things that have gone wrong, but he hasn't fallen apart by any means. Like, some of this harassment could have been cleaned up a little bit better by Trigger, but look at his probe count. 76? You can't argue with that. That is a very, very, very healthy economy that he has going on. Right now, Trigger has that 5th base going up. Looks like Solar is preparing a counterattack against it. A couple more gates coming. The stasis wards continue to do heavy lifting over here. Slows down the units coming out, so that does buy him a little bit of time as it bottlenecks a bit. Trying to blink away. Doesn't actually have a battery here. Oh, that's a mistake. This is unfortunate. He's going to lose everything at the space. Oh, boy. Yeah. Probes just being absolutely massacred here. So that's a bit unfortunate. He does have his own counterattack here, though. On to the 5th base. It is 5 base versus 5 base right now. Trigger, despite losing 16 probes, oh, look at this, building 4 probes at a time like a boss. Still at 68 workers. That's still very healthy. So I guess we can't really, again, like, not everything's going perfect for Trigger, but he is still putting out a very high-quality game here. Not as good as Stasis Ward there. Moving up for another attack on the side. His multi-prong is doing pretty good. Look, that's a solid pullback as well. Zerg is not going to want to fight off creep for very long there. Tries poking the bridges once again. It feels like he's getting to the edge of what he's capable of, though. Like, it feels like this is getting a little bit like the way he's blinking and things, right? Like, it's more fix-it-quickly micro rather than precise, deadly micro, if that makes sense. All right, blinking back a bit. Ooh! Oh, the Stasis Ward not quite as good as I thought it was. I thought he was going to get like 5 roaches there. Loses a few stalkers, unfortunately. Roach is coming up for a bit of a flank. Might be time for him to join his army. There you go. That's a good stasis ward. So big chunks of Solar's army are frozen right now. And, okay, actually, looking at the army supply, has Trigger lost a little bit too much here? Like, I guess as long as he's microing really heavily, he can grind some value and rebuild his army. But his army supply does seem low. And even though there's a lot of roaches on the side of Solar, there's also a lot of Lings and Banes. So I think without any doubt, Solar has a much better army here. The worker count is insane for Trigger, though. Like, 83 probes for Protoss is craziness. He's got such a good economy. In fact, going even higher than that at this point. Would love to see some more gates. He is adding a couple in his main base. Oh, God. Oh, God, those Banelings were insane. Trigger, I guess he didn't have Blink on cooldown there. It's unfortunate. Oh, a couple stasis wards trying to save the day for him. I'm not sure if it's going to work, though. Does have that overcharge, which is doing wonders. Stalkers doing their best to stay alive, blinking back to fight this. I wish he had a Dark Shrine here. Could be a great moment. He is doing a little bit of a counterattack. Zealot's doing okay, but oh my god, Lurkers are prepared. And it feels like Trigger is starting to bleed a little bit too much here. You can see his supply getting doubled at the moment. His army very, very small. He does lose that base. His economy is still solid, but I don't think he can get out high enough quality units. Look at this. Morphs the Banelings. The Zealots are actually stuck behind them. The Baneling wall morph. And GG is called, and that's going to give it to Solar. With a 3-0 victory. Very well done. Yeah, that was sick. Congrats to Solar for winning the tournament. And congrats to Trigger, because Trigger had an amazing run. This was the best run that he's had in a cup, which is just awesome to see. Let's take a look at the bracket real quick, just to talk about that, right? Obviously, Solar went through his side. Look, he took it on Pig, Disc, Clem. I mean, that's super legit. Disc is strong. Obviously, we love Pig. And he's good, too, but he's not pro gamer level, right? Solar is going to beat him. But the victory over Clem, that's really solid. And then, of course, he threw his Trigger. But Trigger had the sickest run, right? Yo-Yo is a high GM player, so that's cool. Then he takes on Gumio 2-0, Beyond 2-0. Does end up losing to Solar. I think Game 3, he put up a real good fight. Fantastically done, so big congratulations to him. One thing to mention, Mapu has been our observer here tonight.